I'm joining this already legendary and iconic team that already has an incredible legacy. I have my own legacy. They haven't won since 2007.
Lewis Hamilton has just triggered unprecedented chaos, and what's just been revealed from inside Ferrari's headquarters has sent Formula One into complete turmoil after wiping his entire Instagram clean in a shocking purge. Hamilton's explosive team radio outbursts during Miami have now escalated into open warfare. The seven-time world champion's frustrations with Ferrari's failing SF25 car have reached breaking point, culminating in an emergency meeting with Fred Vasseur that has the entire paddock speculating about a catastrophic breakdown at Maranello. Lewis Hamilton's mysterious social media purge sent shockwaves through the racing world when both he and teammate Charles Leclerc simultaneously wiped their Instagram accounts clean. Born from mounting frustrations over Ferrari's disastrous 2025 campaign, this coordinated digital blackout revolutionized speculation by suggesting internal tensions far deeper than anyone imagined. With Hamilton 90 points behind championship leader Oscar Piastri after just 6 races, and Ferrari languishing 152 points adrift of McLaren in the constructors' standings. Sources inside Ferrari revealed Hamilton's eruption during the Miami Grand Prix reached unprecedented levels. "Have a tea break while you're at it," Hamilton sarcastically snapped over team radio when strategy decisions took too long. Later, explaining, "In the end, we lost a lot of time overtaking each other. At that moment, the car felt alive and the tire was good, and I was clearly quicker. I think a decision should have been taken sooner." This public dressing down of Ferrari's strategists marked a turning point in Hamilton's relationship with his new team. What makes Hamilton's outburst particularly explosive is the timing of his unscheduled emergency meeting with team principal Fred Vasseur. Ahead of Miami, Hamilton reportedly called a sudden unscheduled meeting with Fred Vasseur to discuss strategy and performance. Insider sources confirmed the contents of that meeting remain closely guarded, but paired with the immediate social media wipeouts by both Ferrari drivers, the implications sent shockwaves through the paddock. Neither driver has spoken about it, but fans have already drawn their conclusions, noted one Ferrari insider. Jenson Button, Hamilton's former McLaren teammate, revealed the psychological toll on the British driver. "Lewis is a different character now than he was when we were teammates," Button explained to Sky Sports. Now, he's much more of a calm personality. He's much more of a rounded character. I think it is starting to hurt him a little bit, constantly being slower than his teammate. That's not how Lewis Hamilton is built. He's a winner! This damning assessment from someone who knows Hamilton intimately suggests the Ferrari dream has become a nightmare. The specific technical failures plaguing Hamilton paint a picture of systematic dysfunction at Ferrari. Rear-end instability, poor traction in low-speed corners, and inconsistent tire management have turned a promising start into a technical headache, team boss Fred Vasseur admitted. Even more devastatingly, he confessed, "We're still in the early stages with these tire compounds, and I think we're all still a bit in the dark. And I think McLaren are currently one step ahead in this area." This admission of inferiority from Ferrari's leadership has reportedly infuriated Hamilton. Ferrari's promised upgrades add insult to injury for the frustrated champion. Ferrari's major upgrades aren't expected until Silverstone, leaving Hamilton to suffer through Imola with only minimal small aero tweaks, cooling changes, and minor suspension refinements. Meanwhile, rival teams are bringing substantial packages to the European races. This timing disaster has left Hamilton feeling abandoned by a team that pursued him for years only to provide substandard equipment. The social media purge that followed Hamilton's Miami meltdown created instant viral chaos. The memes came fast, with speculation ranging from Hamilton unfollowing his dog to countdowns to a Mercedes reunion and speculation about internal friction. The coordinated nature of both Ferrari drivers clearing their accounts simultaneously suggests a deeper crisis than simple frustration. Industry insiders believe this represents the first salvo in what could become Formula One's most dramatic internal war. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff's recent comments added fuel to the speculation fire. Imola is one of Hamilton's favorite circuits, Wolff noted pointedly, before adding the devastating qualifier, but a favorite track means nothing when the car beneath you refuses to cooperate. This barely veiled criticism of Ferrari from Hamilton's former boss suggests Mercedes might be preparing for their star's potential return. Wolff's additional comment that he has no doubt magic is still with Ferrari driver read more like a recruitment pitch than support. The cultural adjustment issues compound Hamilton's technical frustrations. In a recent interview, he opened up about lifestyle adjustments, including resisting the infamous Italian culinary temptations, revealing struggles that extend beyond the track. For an athlete who thrives on routine and discipline, these small disruptions matter when combined with cultural shift, new team dynamics, and fan pressure. The cumulative effect has created what sources describe as Hamilton's most challenging career period. Ferrari's internal response to Hamilton's outburst reveals organizational chaos, while Vasseur publicly maintains composure, stating, "It's not an ideal start, but we're working hard. The foundation is strong. Private meetings tell a different story." The emergency summit between Hamilton and Vasseur reportedly involved heated exchanges about car development priorities, with Hamilton demanding immediate action rather than promises of future upgrades. Whether that foundation includes the faith of two world-class drivers remains to be seen, one team member admitted anonymously. The relationship dynamics between Hamilton and Leclerc add another explosive element. While there are no signs of conflict, both drivers know they're being measured against one another. Every qualifying lap, every radio message, every result. With Leclerc consistently outperforming Hamilton, finishing ahead in 5 of 6 races, the pressure on the 7-time champion intensifies daily. The synchronized Instagram purge suggests both drivers share frustrations. But Hamilton's status as the struggling newcomer makes his position particularly vulnerable. Sky Sport Italia's Vicky Piria captured Italian sentiment perfectly. The excitement was huge, but then everything kind of got worse and worse because Miami was pretty bad for Ferrari. The gap between McLaren and Lewis was a minute, so that definitely was something that Italians did not expect. This crushing disappointment from the Tifosi adds external pressure to Hamilton's internal struggles, creating a toxic environment for rebuilding confidence. Ferrari's desperate upgrade plans reveal the severity of their crisis. A report indicates Ferrari will introduce a new rear suspension late next month, designed to achieve a more extreme mechanical setup after being forced to raise ride height following Hamilton's China disqualification. However, these changes won't arrive until the Austrian Grand Prix, leaving Hamilton to endure more races in inferior machinery while rivals pull further ahead. Ferrari's outdated rear suspension highlights deeper issues, with Hamilton isolated in a struggling team. Jolyon Palmer calls them 2025's biggest letdown, noting Hamilton's continued battle with rear instability. Imola, their first home race together, is a crucial moment. Another failure could break the Ferrari-Hamilton partnership, with internal turmoil already brewing.
It is McLaren in Miami, Papaya and Piastri on top as Oscar Piastri wins the Miami Grand Prix.
The Miami Grand Prix revealed a stark reality that Max Verstappen and Red Bull have been dreading. After qualifying on pole position, Verstappen watched helplessly as the McLaren cars of Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris swept past him. The 4-time world champion finished 4th, a staggering 39 seconds behind winner Piastri. Verstappen said this after the race, "If you see what McLaren does with the tires, then we are all doing something wrong." This statement represents more than frustration. It confirms Red Bull's worst fears about their 2025 campaign. The team that dominated Formula One for the past 4 years now finds itself comprehensively outpaced whenever race temperatures rise and tire degradation becomes critical. The numbers paint a concerning picture. In Bahrain, Verstappen finished over 30 seconds behind the winner, barely ahead of Pierre Gasly's Alpine. Miami's result proved equally demoralizing, with Helmut Marko estimating their pure performance deficit at 0.7 to a full second per lap. The Austrian advisor described the situation as depressing, particularly given their latest technical updates had failed to deliver expected improvements. Red Bull arrived in Miami with new floor modifications specifically for Verstappen's RB21. The team repositioned fences to energize the underfloor differently and introduced new floor edges featuring a more cambered mini wing for increased local load. Paul Monahan, Red Bull's chief engineer, expressed confidence before the race. It's reasonably stable. We can bring it at relatively low risk because it's a sprint race. The modifications aim to address the car's fundamental balance issues that have plagued Red Bull throughout 2025. However, the floor represented general aerodynamic development rather than a targeted solution to their specific problems. Monaghan explained, "The flow stability is unchanged, so we're not fearing it to be aerodynamically unstable or anything of that nature. It can go on, and it will give us a few kilos of load, and we shall enjoy the benefits." Verstappen's assessment after the race proved more sobering. The Dutchman admitted he remained completely uncertain about the floor's effectiveness. "It's not negative in any case," he told Dutch media. "I find it very difficult to think anything about that at this track. It all feels very weird here, and the corners are all just weird. I think we'll know more when we go to Imola." The Miami circuit's characteristics prevented accurate evaluation of the upgrades. Verstappen repeatedly described the track as weird, suggesting the team would need to wait until the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix for proper assessment. This uncertainty compounds Red Bull's challenges in addressing their performance deficit. The pattern emerging across the 2025 season reveals a consistent problem. Verstappen remains competitive during qualifying sessions, securing poles at Suzuka, Jeddah, and Miami. His ability to extract maximum performance over a single lap partially masks the car's deficiencies. Andrea Stella, McLaren's team boss, confirms this dynamic. The car was easier to exploit in race simulation runs rather than on a single lap in qualifying. Once the race begins, everything changes. Tire wear becomes the defining factor, and McLaren's superiority becomes apparent. Verstappen acknowledged this reality. "I had nothing to lose, so I just tried to have a bit of fun out there as well at the same time. I said yesterday that I would try to do my very best, and I think we did that today, but unfortunately just didn't have the pace." The core issue centers on tire temperature management. Red Bull's tires overheat rapidly, leading to excessive degradation compared to McLaren. Verstappen elaborated, "We were overheating a lot on the tires, so it was just quite a bit of a struggle out there. And then, of course, we got a bit unlucky with the VSC as well, but that's racing as well." This problem extends beyond dry conditions. Verstappen's revelation about McLaren's advantage encompasses all weather scenarios. He said, "You saw it on intermediates in the rain as well. As soon as the tires overheat, they have a massive advantage." Red Bull's investigation into McLaren's methods has uncovered intriguing clues. The team obtained thermal images from an outside party showing mysterious blue spots on McLaren's brake drums. These cold areas suggest McLaren has developed a method to prevent heat transfer from the brakes to the wheel rims and tires, thereby controlling temperatures more effectively. The FIA conducted routine post-race inspections of the McLaren car after Miami, including examination of the brake system. Everything was found to be legal, leaving Red Bull to continue searching for answers. The budget cap compounds this challenge, limiting resources available for development while teams must balance current improvements against preparations for 2026. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, offered a frank assessment of the situation. "Well done to McLaren. They were in a league of their own today, particularly with tires running at the temperatures that they are," he stated after Miami. "They definitely are doing a better job than the rest of the teams and had a very competitive race." Beyond tire management, Red Bull faces additional technical challenges. Horner identified brake issues contributing to the performance gap. He said, "We had some issues with the brakes that Max hasn't been happy with, and I think that might be compounding or contributing to the issue. I think the drivers talk about a numbness in the car." The development timeline presents another concern. Verstappen explained the complexity of finding solutions, saying, "We are of course doing our best to solve it, but some things all take a bit longer also to understand it all properly. To then also produce it is another story." Monaghan echoed this sentiment regarding incremental improvements. "It won't be a sort of turnkey solution to unlock, if you like. It's going to be incremental improvements on the car. We understand what's happened, but actually affecting a cure is not that straightforward. It may never disappear from the car. The championship implications are significant." Verstappen now trails Oscar Piastri by 32 points in the drivers' standings, while Red Bull sits 141 points behind McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. Despite these deficits, Horner maintains perspective. It's a 24-race championship. There's a long, long way to go. McLaren are looking mightily impressive at this point as we leave Miami. Things can change, but we need to start making an indentation into the points over the coming races. The European triple header offers potential respite. Lower temperatures could reduce thermal degradation issues that have plagued Red Bull in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Miami. Horner expressed cautious optimism. I think a lot, yeah. I mean, we're back into Europe. Different types of circuit, different nature of circuits. McLaren have got the car to beat at the moment, that's quite clear. They're going to be tough to beat over the next few races. Imola should provide clarity on Red Bull's development direction. The team expects to introduce more targeted balance improvements at the Italian circuit. Monahan confirmed ongoing efforts. Can we reduce the magnitude? Improve the lap time? Yes, there's a lot of clever people in Milton Keynes who are working hard to improve step, and it will come. The implications extend beyond 2025. Andrea Stella said, I think there are some fundamentals that you can carry over. Some fundamentals in terms of understanding that you can carry over into next year's car. Stella refers to McLaren's expertise as the black art of Formula One. The team's targeted engineering work has created a significant competitive advantage, particularly in hot conditions where thermal management proves decisive.
And he's dropped back, he's recovering at turn 16, and contact! Contact! This is the moment that damaged his front wing.
A 10-second penalty, one mistake, and Max Verstappen's shot at Miami glory vanished. But what really happened during that high-pressure pit stop, and why are some saying the punishment was never about the race at all? The 2025 Miami Grand Prix sprint race took an unexpected turn when Max Verstappen received a 10-second penalty for an unsafe release during a pit stop, leading to a collision with Mercedes rookie Kimi Antonelli. This incident not only impacted Verstappen's race, but also stirred significant discussions within the Formula One community. During the sprint race, as drivers transitioned from intermediate to slick tires on a drying track, Verstappen was released from the Red Bull pit box into the path of Antonelli. The resulting contact between the two cars prompted the FIA stewards to review the incident. They concluded that Red Bull had violated Article 34.14a of the FIA Formula One sporting regulations, which addresses unsafe releases in the pit lane. Consequently, Verstappen was handed a 10-second time penalty, dropping him from 4th to 17th place in the final standings. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner attributed the mishap to human error, acknowledging the team's mistake and emphasizing the need to learn from it. Verstappen, visibly frustrated, refrained from delving into the details of the incident, stating, "It's super clear what happened, so there's not much more for me to add." He expressed relief that no one was injured in the crowded pit lane. "It was a human error. We'll learn from it," Red Bull boss Christian Horner simply added, but his Mercedes counterpart was not impressed. But while the Dutchman remained composed in front of the cameras, behind the scenes, the frustration was unmistakable. According to paddock sources, Verstappen was livid at the timing and execution of the release. With the title fight hanging in the balance, losing points not due to pace or strategy, but from a procedural slip-up, has hit hard. The penalty had significant implications for the championship standings. Verstappen, who had been trailing McLaren's Oscar Piastri by 19 points before the sprint race, failed to score any points due to the penalty. This marked his first finish outside the points in any race format since the 2016 Belgian Grand Prix, and in a tightly contested season where every point matters, even a single lost opportunity can shift momentum. Meanwhile, McLaren capitalized on the situation, with Lando Norris winning the sprint race and Piastri finishing second. What makes this moment even more critical is how it reflects the changing dynamics of the grid. For the last few seasons, Red Bull's ability to execute flawless race weekends set them apart. But in 2025, that margin for error is gone. McLaren's relentless pressure and Mercedes' steady rise with Antonelli are pushing Red Bull into uncomfortable territory. The incident sparked discussions among teams and drivers. Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff criticized the error as a significant safety lapse, stating, "I was surprised by the total lack of judgment. Somebody panicked there." Antonelli, the youngest ever F1 pole sitter at 18, expressed his frustration, noting that he had to take avoiding action, which compromised his race. While the Italian rookie walked away without damage, his early momentum was clearly disrupted. And while Verstappen was penalized, Antonelli's camp believes the consequence wasn't enough to undo the damage already done.